What's going on, guys? It's the Sports Web live here from Amalie Arena. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. JP Peterson here of FanStream Sports. How you doing today?
The champ. Just refer to me as the champ.
Let's go, champ!
For today's
The champ
activities.
today?
Just champ.
Does that make me the challenger?
And we got TJ Rives, a big fight weekend. Of course, the big story and all eyes were on Titus O'Neil of WWE here, guys, and also Jake Paul, YouTube celebrity.
Yep.
And he had a lot to say here, TJ, about people kind of doubting him and his fighting style. What did you learn from him?
So today was the kickoff press conference. Jake Paul is fighting here December 18th, Saturday night, Amalie Arena, the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Jake Paul is fighting the half-brother of Tyson Fury, the world heavyweight champ, Tommy Fury. Got to connect all the dots here. Paul, social media star. Tommy Fury is a reality star in the UK that's had some pro fights. This isn't going back to like Ali Frazier or like Tyson against whomever, but we got what we got, and they kicked it off today, and they're having the fight in downtown Tampa. And Jake Paul, guys, fought in Cleveland in August, and they had legit 17,000 in attendance. So we're expecting huge crowd, JP Peterson and Peter Blake, for what's going to happen in December, and they kicked it off today.
And this is not the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is not the Buccaneers. But in the world of social media and sports and entertainment, this is a huge deal. I mean, between Tommy Fury and Jake Paul and me, we got 80 million followers. 80 million followers. I mean, that's a lot.
That's like the guys. That's like the guys for the Bulls that claim on that game that Jordan scored 63 on the Celtics. Jordan and I scored 65 on the Celtics that night. That's the same claim.
No, this is going to be fun. You know, it's going to have a lot of eyes are going to be on Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I mean, this is not a championship fight, but it has intrigue. It's going to be fun, and really, I think people want to see if Jake Paul can really fight against a real boxer.
That's the thing.
That's the thing, and I think everybody wants to see that.
So the first 4 fights have been against another YouTube guy for Jake Paul. A former basketball player, speaking of basketball players, a slam dunk champion, Nate Robinson. He knocked him out with 1 punch in the second round. Now he's fought 2 MMA guys that are not boxers. Those are the 4 fights. The guy he's fighting now has an amateur background as a boxer, has 10 professional fights. That is the story of this. What happens when Jake Paul gets in there with somebody that is skilled, somebody that is trained for years to be a boxer? That's what we're all going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out also if Paul can continue his winning streak, because he already beat Woodley. Woodley had to get the tattoo or whatever else. Now there's a prize of what, $550,000.
So Jake Paul has put up $500,000 of his own money in addition to the purse, in a bet that Fury has to change his name and maybe get a tattoo. What were they saying at the news conference? It's the name change and a tattoo if he loses?
Well, the bigger thing is his brother, Tyson, said if he loses, he can't come home.
He's going to get disowned.
You're out. You got like take a flight to another island. You're not coming home. So I think the stakes are pretty high now. It's like either win or you're homeless. This is something we've never really had. This is kind of a mix of entertainment. Titus O'Neil was here, global superstar. Wrestling, entertainment, social media. I mean, this is going to be fun. Nobody's building this up as a world championship fight, but it's something much more. It's so fun. I can't wait.
It is, and to pick Tampa Bay right now, he even talked about a great area. Even though he said he was a Cleveland Brown fan, he was promoting the Tampa Bay Lightning. He had a 69 jersey on.
Right.
I mean,
Lightning.
Right.
Well, remember what he had.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind.
I think he took Gronk's jersey. He took his 69 Lightning jersey.
So keep this in mind, though, too, that Jake Paul has fought in Los Angeles. Jake Paul has fought in Las Vegas previously before, too. These are different sites. And again, the Cleveland angle was because he's originally from Ohio. But for them to pick Tampa and to pick this area and to pick this situation, that says a lot.
Yeah,
and it also says a lot for fight fans. It says a lot for what the Buccaneers and the Lightning have been able to do to put this area back in the consciousness of sports fans. So I think it's a really neat thing for the area too, Pete.
It's absolutely a neat thing for the area. And once again, December 18th, live on Showtime here at Amalie Arena. We'll try to give it all to you here live on Next Gen Sports Media, where sports media evolves, live on I Love St. Pete. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with TJ Rives of Big Fight Weekend, JP Peterson of FanStream Sports.
On the JP Peterson Show.
The JP
10 to 12,
yes.
live streamed every day on FanStream Sports. Don't forget that.
Absolutely.
We'll be hearing from Jake Paul on the show this week, if not tomorrow, right?
I just got a one-on-one with Jake Paul. And we discovered, he did the mic drop at the end about the catfish of Fury's girlfriend's a catfish. He explained that whole thing.
Are you going to explain that to the audience?
That's going to be, we're breaking news tomorrow.
Are you in the running to be a future Jake Paul opponent if he gets by Tommy Fury? Can you confirm or deny here on the Sports Web?
No, God, please, no.
I'll do corner stuff. I'll be the cut man, the motivation guy. Like, you got this, man.
What if the corner has to come in and separate people and corner men square off? Are you up for that?
For that, I'm totally.
You're one of those guys that has to hold everybody back. You're a hold
right behind Titus.
Right. You're a hold them back guy. You hold them back, and then you don't get involved yourself.
No, absolutely. I'm a hide behind big guy. Come in. Hold me back.
Hold me back.
Let's go, champ. I'm that guy.
Now, speaking of the corner, we learned something else today that had local ties. Mike Calta,
correct,
of 102.5 The Bone, Real
he's
Raw Radio. Yes,
in Jake Paul's corner.
How about that?
So he's going local angle. Local angle allegedly. Now I will believe that when I see it. He did say that that's going to happen, but I will believe that when I see it.
Mike, you gonna be rubbing him down in the corner?
We'll see.
Rubbing him down.
We'll see if that is the case.
How do you get the? What is that salve stuff they put on?
Right. Get a little ointment.
He's gonna volunteer for Fury if he needs it. I mean, two of the biggest radio stars in town. I mean, we should definitely be at one corner.
Why not?
Corner or the other.
You've been
Absolutely.
around here. You've done it. I mean, you've done NBC Football Night in America.
This is my house. This is
Tampa Bay, baby.
This is
Tampa Bay
right here. You're the first guy that said Tom Brady was going to come here, and he didn't even get credit for
100%.
So there you go. We're live here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television from the Tyson. I want to say Tyson, but it was Tyson and his brother Tommy Fury against Jake Paul live here on Showtime, December 18th from Amalie Arena. Other thoughts on this big time fight?
I think Serrano. We've talked about Amanda Serrano.
So Amanda Serrano is one of the top fighters in women's boxing in the whole world, certainly in the United States. And she will be on the card as the co-feature fight. And this is a big deal because she was part of his card in Ohio in August. And he has stepped up the visibility, Jake Paul, of her and women's boxing big time with that fight and coming in December. And here's the other thing. She can fight. It's not just a pretty face. 41 wins, 30 knockouts. She can fight. So she's going to be on this fight card. And then if she is victorious, the name that is out there is Katie Taylor, who's a massive star in the UK as a female boxer, former Olympic champion, unbeaten ladies world champion. Let's get Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor together in 2022. But first, she's got to take care of business. Amalie Arena, December 18th, downtown Tampa. So again, if you're a fight fan, you want to be here for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which Amanda Serrano in the co-feature.
I found out something very interesting about Amanda. Did an interview with her. She doesn't have a cell phone. She does not own a cell phone.
Correct.
No social media whatsoever. She's all business. I mean, and that's a lesson for you kids out there. You want to be the greatest? Put the phone away. Focus on your.
Well, we got to have the phone to stream here. We got.
Yeah, we do.
In our case,
to watch your shows.
Our case,
right? In our cases,
and we talk about it. But if you want to do it, you want to be a champion, put the phone away.
And she's been very honest about this too. I have no time for the phone. She goes, I got no time for a boyfriend or a husband. I want to be a world champion. I want to be a fighter. Nothing else matters. Very driven. So it's very interesting for her. And again, this is a stepping stone for her for 2022, big time. A lot of intrigue for her. And I think most people are going to tune in because, again, this is the first time Jake Paul has been in there with a boxer. Is he going to get his head knocked off? Is he going to get drilled by Tommy Fury? Because unlike the MMA guys that he's fought that are primarily used to the octagon and grappling and submissions, this is somebody that's been trained in boxing. So I think a big part of the draw is, can somebody shut Jake Paul up, and is Tommy Fury that guy?
You guys are the boxing fans here. I mean, do you prefer a guy like a Jake Paul who doesn't have the experience but is a spectacle to a certain degree for talk radio purposes?
Well, you know what I like about these fights is there's a lot more action in them. I mean, professional fighters, there's obviously for technical reasons, they're feeling each other out. The first few rounds, you don't get a whole lot of anything. Like Amanda, they're in. Here we go. It's not. I'm not saying they're not tactical fighters, but they get after it. They freaking get after it, and I love that part.
And Jake Paul has taken this seriously enough, Peter, that he is training with a former world championship contender in BJ Flores for like the last 2 years. He's got some skills, so he's taking it serious. This is not the old like celebrity boxing that you saw with Horshack fighting somebody on Fox. Remember all that?
Right.
This is not that.
Right.
He's taking it seriously enough, obviously, to get to this point. And so that I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see if he gets tested by a professional boxer, what happens in this fight. I'll tell you a quick story that is the background for this. Our friend, the late great radio host in this market, Ted Webb, who was on the air here
Sports Rap
for 40 years.
Channel 28.
For 40 years, Ted Webb was in this market, and he was huge into wrestling, huge into boxing, and he told this story about a Tampa wrestling promoter that was promoting professional wrestling. He said the wrestling promoter was dealing with the guys from the arena, and the guys from the arena said, we don't need to have these hardback seats. We need to have the seats that have cushions in them, because the cushion seat we can sell for $5 more a seat if it's a cushion seat. And the other guy said, well, you know what? The other thing is we got to make sure that they can get into this area, have their drinks in their seat. They don't have to go to the concession stand. We want to make sure that they pay a little more for the cushion seat and they can have drinks in the area. And finally, the wrestling promoter stopped him, as Ted tells the story, and said, you know what we need? We need asses in those seats. That's what we need. We need people to show up for this fight. That's what it's about with Jake Paul. He brings an audience right now for this fight on December the 18th, where you're going to see probably 15,000 or more, maybe a sold-out Amalie Arena, depending on how they configure it. Yeah. And there's going to be an audience on Showtime. They need an audience. They need butts in the seats. He's going to deliver, especially with his social media following, hundreds of thousands that are watching on social media, if not watching on Showtime, and 10, 15, 17,000 that will probably be here, butts in the seats. That's why Jake Paul is headlining this event. And then the intrigue is this going to be a night where he gets his head knocked off, and what happens if he does?
I know you guys enjoy it, but do you feel like the sport of boxing likes this, that they need this because of all the publicity that Paul
gets? I'll
gets?
give you a little bit on that. There are a lot of people in the boxing media, there are a lot of people in the fight game, fighters or whatever, that want to see Tommy Fury lay him out because they're over this. So the old school ones, the ones that have been coming up the hard way, not a lot of money, a lot of attention, yes, that's the answer to that. In terms of fans, I don't think fans care. Fans want to be entertained. Fans want to see a fight. And Jake Paul has a legitimate monster right hand, and he has laid out all four of the guys that he's knocked out with that right hand. So from a tactical standpoint or a big punch standpoint, that's a reason to tune in. But yeah, from a boxing standpoint, a lot of the media, a lot of hate that is out there for the attention that he's getting, and they want to see Tommy Fury lay him out.
Let me try and sell the fight this way
to
Tampa Bay fans, okay? And I just talked to Jake about this. You know, Fury didn't even show up here today.
Right.
Jake took the time to be here. Jake has come up from the streets. He's a blue-collar dude. Yeah, he may have some money now, and he's wearing a lot of bling, but he came up the hard way, whereas, you know, Fury's kind of ridden the coattails of his half-brother,
correct,
silver spoonish. So, I mean, the backbone of this town, this is a blue-collar town. I feel like Tampa Bay still is very much a blue-collar town. You've got, you know, a kid from Cleveland, United States, going up against some Limey. I mean, let's sell it. Let's sell it. I mean, you got Silver Spoon Limey against blue-collar USA. I mean, Tampa Bay, who are you rooting for? Who are you coming to cheer for? Let's freaking go. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Come on.
Yep.
This is Tampa Bay. We're back in Jake Paul.
Fuck nigga, be 4+8.
Well, and keep one more thing. Keep one more thing. Is your mic drop?
I'll let you guys finish.
All right, good job, JP.
Once again, JP Peterson, Fan Stream Sports. Check him out right there. Media professional, Florida State University, of course.
He's been
WFLA
here.
Channel 8, 620,
25 years.
1010 AM. I work with the guy. Guy is nothing but great to me.
So one more point
yes,
on what he was saying right there about the whole American interest versus everybody else. Right. Paul's going to play that up, etc. Tommy Fury's fought here one time. He fought here on the undercard by design of the Jake Paul fight card in August. Didn't look great in that fight. And Paul was making fun of him at the press conference. But this is where boxing is different. You and I love football. We love everything. We love the Lightning. We love the Rays.
Absolutely.
All right. In football, there is no 28-point touchdown. In hockey, there is no 5-goal goal. In baseball, there's no 9-run home run. In boxing, there is one of those things. It's called one punch. And Jake Paul has the one punch power that I don't know that Tommy Fury has, but one punch can change everything. And that's why we're intrigued here by this. Jake Paul could look horrible as this fight's going on, but he lands the one haymaker punch and it changes everything or scores a knockout. That's another angle on the intrigue for December 18th.
And TJ, it definitely seems like he's really, really motivated at this point, because all he had to say is, look, you guys can doubt me all you want to. Media, like you said, boxing boxing historians, yes, easy for me to say. At the end of the day, though, he's got something to prove, and that may be his biggest motivation. Once again, easy for me to say. So, I mean, that's got to be his driving force.
We will find out on December 18th. We had a lot of fun kicking this off today. We'll see how many tickets they sell. I believe they will sell a bunch because of this guy's following and who he is. And we're about to find out, is it legit? That's what the boxing world is buzzing about and saying. Yeah. Is he legit? Because Tommy Fury is not a world champion, but he's got 10 professional wins. He's got skill. He's got training. If Jake Paul handles him, there are people who will now have to acknowledge, okay, maybe this is more legitimate than I thought. Maybe it's not legitimate, but this is more legitimate than I thought. Right. And that's what December 18th is all about.
Absolutely. December 18th, live from Amalie Arena. We'll try to get you that coverage here on NSPN, Next Gen Sports Media.
If you're a fight fan, if you're a boxing fan, Big Fight Weekend, bigfightweekend.com and the podcast. Thank you for the plug. You do great work.
Thank you very much for the great TJ Rives, the Big Fight Weekend, and the Buccaneer Radio Network. I'm your host, Peter Blake. 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Fortnite! We'll see you later live on NSPN and I Love St. Pete. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hit it, Jason Powers.
Iridocyclitis.
Three.
What number comes between 2 and 4?
2 and 4. Start from 1. 36.
You're done, and they're taking the banner down. Yes. Perfect way to end it.
And my band's ready now because they're taking everything down.